Hello, hello. Someone want to type in the chat and let me know if you can hear me well? Hello, Adele. Hello. Hey, glad you guys can make it too. That's great. Wow, the three of you here. Good. I didn't know if this was going to be like obvious on YouTube. I posted it on Facebook and I didn't make any announcement on YouTube or anything, so I just went for it. Thanks for dropping in. So I'm going to try to make some house music today. I've been working on a project for work purposes that had some house stuff in it, and I don't normally I've never made house music before, actually, at all. Hi, Corey. And but I love it. Whenever I hear good stuff, it's just where it's at for me. So I'm in the mood right now, and it's going to be a learning process, so hopefully that's of interest to you. And please let me know how the sound goes, if everything can be heard clearly, if you want me to change the levels of the music or my voice or whatever. I don't know exactly what will be best. We did try to run some tests earlier today, and it seemed like it was all right. So we're going to give it a shot, see what happens. And I'm totally open to anything in the chat. If you want to ask a question or have me try something or explain something, or anything would be great. I love to interact with people. It's like my favorite thing. So if anything you want to mention would be great. I'm just going to go about it. I'm going to try to explain or at least talk about everything I'm doing. Otherwise, if I did it in my normal way where I just like basically say nothing for 5 hours and sit down and stare at a screen, it wouldn't be so interesting. So I'll try to explain everything I'm doing, and hopefully that will inspire some conversation there. So first of all, I don't really know much about the genres of house. I got a good friend who is like a master and can tell me everything about it. I'm just going to make something. I don't know what's going to happen or what it's going to sound like in the end, but we're going to give it a shot. So I laid out a few things ahead of time so I don't have to like do everything all at once, as in like picking drum sounds, and I got a couple bass sounds I chose. Maybe I'll throw them all out. I don't know. And I also started with this little thing here. Whenever I make, well, I can't say this genre, but any genre really, I try to beatbox things ahead of time, and then I record the beatboxing. That's because I find that I can get the most organic, flowing, natural quality when I instinctively can make noises with my mouth rather than having to rely on my playing skills, which aren't always the best. And then I record that in to a metronome, and then I can build the beat around that. So I've got this track here. I think it should come through. I'm going to play it now and just let me know if you can hear it. So yeah, let me know if that was audible to you. This was just recorded on the shotgun mic that's sitting in front of me, and it's just going to be used as like a template or a reference. I'm going to put loops around it. Okay, great. And then I will build the beat around that thing. It's probably going to end up quite a bit different than that, but at least that's sort of the groove thing I'm looking for. So let's give it a shot here. I'm going to start by putting my loop around this, and then, great, good to hear it sounding good. I've got just the basic house drum thing going on here. I'll explain a little bit about what I did actually too. So let's just delete this and this for now, and then we can just duplicate this out. So, oh goodness, there we go. I'll group these all together just to make one big chunk. Here's what this sounds like. I'm gonna mute the voice thing for now. So I don't really like this hit. I'm probably going to change I'm trying to leave the drum pattern as sparse as possible right now, just so that I leave room for the bass elements and other elements, and then I can figure out where I'm going to put my percussion in between afterwards. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I've never actually done this before, so maybe that's the wrong way to go about it. So maybe some right here. And then something right here. Okay, so that's just going to be the template for now, and then we're going to see how it goes. So let me just mute that. Now, so one interesting thing I tried to do here was get that sweeping sound into the snare. So let's see if I can, I'm just going to isolate it. I call it a snare whip. It sounds like this on its own. I don't know if that's even audible to you. And then with the snare, let's actually do it like this. Just the... Okay. We'll just put the snare on and... How can I do this? This as well. So before every snare, there's a very quick... It's very, very subtle. I can turn it up just briefly so we can get the idea. This is at minus 5.1 right now. So if I boost this way up, right, so it kind of whips into it every time, trying to create some forward momentum with the thing. But I don't want it to be very audible, so I'm going to throw it pretty far down. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, so I'm going to try to lay out the rhythm of the bass part right now, and then I'll probably end up changing the notes later. The notes that I sung with into my mic here aren't notes. They're not like a key or anything. It's just random. So I'm just using that as a template, a rhythmic template more than anything, and then I'm going to try to change the notes afterwards. So, taking a listen to the first bar. That's not it. Let's hear it together. There. So we have this boom, boom. So it's like a slide up on that swung 16th in there, and then a note coming down. Now I'm just gonna choose some key. Why not F? How about? Here's some of the basses I've got. It's pretty intense, but I kind of mean at least the bass that I sung with my mouth there made me think about sort of. I don't know though. We're gonna have to give it a try. Maybe that. So let's start with this one and see. So I'm in F right now. And my first thought is playing the fifth down to the root, or way up the octave. Something like this. Let's try that. So I'll just record it in. Now we can mute this thing. So I can already see that I'm probably going to need to make my swing more intense. In Studio One, you can actually visualize the swing grid as you do it. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing in other DAWs. Some of the ones I've used before, you can't do that. So as you can see, this is where the swing quantize is supposed to be. This is where I played it. I didn't play it quite right. We're going to quantize it and just see what that is like. And then why don't we try... Hi, Lisa. There we go. So I want to get some more of the sliding effect right now what they call portamento is pretty weak on it. I mean, it's there, but it's not. Maybe we'll just try to up it a little bit and see what happens. Too much. And then what I could do, because it takes a bit of time for the slide to get to the right note before it hits that final pitch, if I just bring this note back a little bit, I might get what I'm looking for. Yeah, so now for the swing, what if I just go 100% swing and quantize this note like that? Yeah, let's give that a shot. Okay, I'm gonna probably try to add some more interest to the bass at some point. I may even give it a shot right now just to see. I don't know what these do. These patches I'm using come from a company called Unison, and that company I actually have been working for the past years, making various synth sounds and MIDI things for them. And so I have a huge collection of their sounds because of course I made those sounds, and this is one of them, and I'm gonna try to just mess with it a bit and see what we can do. Can't say I'm a fan of any of that. Kind of cool though. So let's try that. It's gonna be too hard to just play it like that, but I'm gonna automate the pitch bend or the modulation here, and we'll start it at full, and then just for this lower note, I'm gonna bring it down so it's not so buzzy. I don't know if that's cool though, maybe not. Maybe let's do this. Let's make it fade. It's not bad. Okay, Adele, thank you for stopping in. See you later. So is this cooler or is this cooler? Can I get a little answer from anybody in the chat right now? That note or like this? There's a little bit of a delay, like probably a 5 to 10 second delay. So what you're hearing right now, I've just said 10 seconds ago. But if you can let me know if you prefer the thing to slide down or if you prefer it to stay steady. What do you think? I think down myself. Slide down, yeah, I think so too. Okay, so let's keep that for now, and then let's go on to the next sound here. So I'm gonna switch the sound, so I'm not gonna use the same bass sound for the whole thing. This was just for that first little bit. But maybe I should even just try it on this one too. Not really what I'm looking for. So yeah, let's put it back. And then I'm probably going to use this thing or some variation of it for this next little bit here. So if I bring this back in. So what I'm trying to do is decide what is going to be a like percussion element and what's going to be a bass element, because I have all this stuff. But but I don't know if that's all bass sounds or if some of it is hi-hats and stuff. So that's probably a percussion. And that's bass. So that can be let's see. Is the sound still good? Like it's a good balance between my voice and this and the drums and stuff, or do you want something to be louder? Good balance, okay. So, like I say, I already feel like these notes are going to be rising or something rather than staying still. Hi, Ian. Yeah, this is actually something I do a lot because the organic quality, like the speed at which I can make ideas with my mouth is just like 10 times what I can do with the computer. So any time spent working on beatboxing, wow, that really pays off because you can do so much with it. So let's try here. I'm going to mute this. And then I'm going to throw a percussion element in here to fill that space. This could be one of these snares even. So the balance between these bass sounds is a bit weak right now. Let's see. Could do something like this. And I can already tell I'm going to need to like put in some kind of background, atmospheric sort of filler pad thing. It's just not quite doing it for me at the moment, but bo-doo-doo, bo-doo-doo. That's kind of cool. Yeah, actually I prefer that, maybe octave down even. Too low. Yeah. And let's just try to get like a chord sound. Sometimes chords are like will ruin the vibe of a thing, but anybody who knows me knows I'm kind of a chord-aholic, so at the sake of potentially ruining the sound, we're just going to try it anyway. So I need something like that that's really quick. This one's not bad. That's actually could be the way to go. That right there. Maybe right on the beat too. Let's give it a shot. I don't mind that, it's pretty cool. could even throw it on the first hit. My sidechain is so heavy that it's probably gonna like mute it. Yeah, I know. Now this chord has its own bass note in it, which means that it's gonna be perceived as like part of the bass line. A woom doom doom, a woom doom dum. So I could just get rid of it. Then it's kind of contextless, so let's not do that. I could throw this down. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's just stick with that. Maybe this should be shorter though, I don't know. Can I get an opinion on that? Should this note be short or long? Like the full length of this 16th or 8th? Or should it be, I'm tending towards short, but if you have an opinion, let me know. If not, whatever. Short, yeah, I like the short too. Maybe both. Maybe both. Next time it comes around, we'll do it long. That's a good idea. Okay, these other little dum dum ba da dum. I do have like short with a delay. Yeah, I actually thought that too. With the delay might work. If the delay was like a single delay, quite rhythmic somehow, if it like went in between these other notes, or a reverb, like a big reverb that gets ducked by the bass, I wonder. Let's do it. It has a bit of a reverb on it right now, the built-in Serum reverb. So actually, what else can this thing do? Not really much of interest. Okay, so let's take this reverb and I'm gonna try to put it before this compressor. Maybe. Sounds cool on its own. Will it sound cool in context? Oftentimes not, but we're gonna find out. Not bad. Not bad. Kind of interferes with the rest of it though. It kind of takes too long to build up. So maybe if I do this and turn up the mix. The reverb that's built into Serum just really doesn't do it for me. So I might need to give it its own thing. Yeah, so I'm thinking this will work if I can put an external reverb on it and make it big and then duck the reverb as soon as the next kick comes, so it gets just totally sucked away. Fab filter with a cathedral setting. That's probably pretty much what I'm going to do. Let's see. So I could use a send. We could put it right on the thing. Let's use a send first and see how well it works. So I need to hide a couple of these tracks here. Hide these until I need them. Hide these until I need them. And these. This is like a big template that I have just a general template that I have set up in case you don't do that in your music. Is really worth looking into. Like I have Omnisphere preloaded with 8 separate instrument outputs. I think I've got 6 serums preloaded, an instance of Contact with 6 or 7 outputs on it. I've got my instance of Battery 4, which I'm running to do my sampled drums like this, and then I've got Addictive drums for acoustic drums, which actually I should probably try to put in here at some point as well. And then that basically rounds out my thing. In terms of my mixer, I've got pre-set up 2 drum verbs that I can use that I'm already using for my drums. I've got 3 verbs for my instruments pre-set up. This is all FabFilter stuff because I'm a fanboy. 2 delays already set up, a drum bus, an instrument bus that I use for side chaining, a mix bus that brings them together, and then I've got my final output over here. That's my general setup. Now I'm going to try to put this FabFilter on and come back to the chord sound. And just to get to grips with it, I'm going to put a little tiny loop around this chord and solo it so I can design my reverb a little bit better. I'm going to try to do this a bit quick because normally I take a long time to make reverb patches, and that's just going to bore you to death. So let's just see what can happen here. I really don't want to hear the oh part. I just want the sound of the notes themselves. I know what the problem is, why I'm getting such a big hit. It's because of the attack on my sound. The attack of that sound is hitting the reverb and is causing that pah, like a snare. So to deal with that, I'm going to put a compressor right before the reverb and try to remove that attack as much as possible. I should probably actually put a gate. That's actually what I should do. So if I throw I never use gates. This is like a once a year phenomenon. I should probably change that. So, oh geez, I don't have my license for it. I have to go online and do that whole thing. Screw it. I have this, so why do I... Okay, we're just going to do it with the compressor then. Let's remove this. And I don't know if this compressor is going to make it happen or not, but we'll give it a try. So attack will be instant. Put a little bit of look ahead on it so that it can hit the attack even harder. And let's see, strong ratio. And then really... Yeah, it's not really going to do what I want. I have an idea though. I'm going to remove this, turn this off, come back to my chord sound, put the thingy, the reverb on here, go into serum, remove the attack. Oops. Remove the attack. Then, now I can basically design the reverb. Give it some pre-delay. Can you not see my Serum snare drum 83? Can someone confirm that or not, if it's difficult? Or do you mean like what this patch is? Can you just clarify your question about see what I'm doing in Serum? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I'm hoping that all these plugins show up. If not, that's a shame. I'm gonna bounce this reverb. You can see the plug. You can't see the plugins. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, that is good to know. I'm gonna try to change that, which means I'm probably okay. Thank you for letting me know. That's like, I just thought that would come hand in hand. I have my program looking at Studio One, and I figured, oh, that's part of Studio One, but I guess it is not. Okay, so I think I have a solution for it. It just means that sometimes I'm going to have to show other parts of my screen that I'm not looking to do. But let's see. Yeah, how do we do this? How do we do this? Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. It's just that on my display, because I have the ultra-wide display, it's going to ruin the aspect ratio. I don't know if I can change that in OBS. I'm just going to give it a quick shot, and you guys can tell me if that works or not. So let's look at my whole desktop, which shows nothing. There it is. Thank you, snare drum, no problem. So, okay, let's see what we can do here. I know you're getting like this crazy view at the moment. Can I just like do this? No. Oh, yes. I think we may be able to succeed here after all. Okay, can you see Serum now? And do you just see Studio One, or do you also see the chat and all that? Close the porn windows. Tell me now, how does Serum look at this time? There we go, okay. Exciting, we got it going on. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bounce out this clip, this thing. So I'm just going to grab this and go bounce. I'm going to unmute this clip. I'm going to turn off the reverb. I was probably getting a double reverb there, maybe not, I'm not sure. Okay, and then I'm going to just now remove the initial hit from this file. Actually, I'm going to pull it this way first and try like this. I'm going to try to get a balance here. Why does that sound completely terrible? Because it just does. But with the drums. That could have been all for nothing. We're going to find out if this works or not. this? Let's send this to, so that's going to the instrument bus. Oh, my voice is coming through that too. Hopefully that's not like screwing you guys over in that right now with a doubling of my voice. Okay, this is a bit better now. You get the idea I'm going for here. I'm really not achieving it in the way that I would like, but it's something. I don't mind it like that. I'm just going to leave it like that for now, and as the time goes on, and my ears are going to tell me if that's any good or not. Okay, good to hear the voice wasn't doubling. Okay. I'm just going to quickly throw the volume down for a second so that I can get a better sense of balance. I'd like to know, actually, if I pull this master fader down, does this turn the volume down for you as well? Probably. Someone let me know that. Okay. Mixing really, not really quiet. I mean, I'm pretty quiet right now, but mixing at a quiet volume, at least going back and forth every once in a while, is super important because you just get too accustomed to one volume and things just jump out. So I'm just trying to get a good sense of the rough balance of things. This is better now, other than this chord is too loud. I'm gonna just bus this chord and its little reverb tail thingy together. We'll call this stab, chord stab. Okay, up the volume goes. This little bump, 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 it's a bit dry right now. Everything else feels a little bit like it's in a space, and I mean, I don't know. I'll leave it for a little bit and see how I feel once we get the next part going on here. I'm just going to listen to the next part of my beatboxing and see what I did. So it's basically a double of the previous thing. So we could have another chord stab here because we're on this new note right now, and then we can pull this over here. And then so do do da 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 da. Let's see. I'm thinking both in terms of melody right now, like the bass line as a melody, and in terms of harmony, thinking what chords am I going to put over top of these bass notes. The first chord, of course, is an F minor, of course. The first chord is an F minor 9 chord, and then coming up to this D flat, I'm going to play some kind of D flat major 9, something or other, and then dum 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 ba da dum 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 da dum 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 Jazzy thing, chromatic maybe. Let's just try that. Like this. Oh, getting an idea right now. Okay, so dun dun da dun 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 da dun. The pitch of this thing is really messing with me. It doesn't sound like it's playing the right notes. Like this sounds like an F when it plays in context. That's a thing that happens sometimes with synths, depending on the way that a filter moves. It can actually obscure the pitch, and that's not really what I want. So the first time it seemed all right. But this, every time I hear that, it really doesn't sound like a G in it. It has to play to the end of the note before I hear it. So it's possible that I could try to fix that in Serum if I think about how I'm creating the sound. I don't have any pitch shifts. Oh, maybe I do. I do. No, macro 4 is having... Macro 4 is changing... Could actually switch to that the second time around. Yeah, ish. I could also switch to a different synth altogether. So I'm just going to grab this chord stab and put another one maybe here before I think about this other problem too much. And this... Oh, I didn't keep the... I got to put that click back on. So this is the first chord. This is the F minor 9. And then for this D flat, potentially that with the sharp 11, potentially with the 5 instead. I'm going to go with the 5 at first and see what's up with that. I see. So, interesting thing happening here where I'm leaving off this bass note, dum dum, and hitting the correct chord for it. Oh, thanks, snare drum. I appreciate that. I'm a huge, huge fan of extensions in harmony, jazz harmony. So, I mean, that's my life, man. So I'm glad you dig it. When I come off this bass note, da-da, I'm hitting the attendant chord there. That's a D flat note in the bass, that, and then I'm hitting a D flat major 9, or whatever I played there. And could throw sharp 11 up top. Maybe not. Yeah, no doubt. Something about those tense chords with it just brings an emotion that you can't really grab without those crunchy intervals inside those notes, you know. That was a many-year study for me, ongoing study. It's just my heart, that sound. Okay, so I'm hitting that chord, and I need to hit another one here, which is going to preemptively show us what the next bass note's going to be. Because when I hit this D flat chord here, and then I hear the B flat bass note come in, it feels unexpected to me, like I wanted to hear the D flat again. So potentially, I could just throw whatever it is, a B flat chord of some sort in the next gap, and that will tip us off that bass note's going to be coming up next. And again, those that know me know that will recognize this sound. I use this sound probably too much because it's just one of my favorite sounds. When you're in a minor key and you turn the 4 chord into a major, or a dominant, I should say. A major if it's a triad, dominant if it's a 7th. So I'm going to play a B flat 9 or something. Let's just give it a try. Maybe here, maybe on the upbeat. So I'm getting pretty low in my bass notes now, but that's what we're going to do. So we're coming from this, and we're going to put it into this. Potentially... Okay, maybe not. Okay. Root. What did I say about the 7th versus the triad? In this case, what I was saying is that thinking about it in terms of, if I'm in a minor key, I'm in F minor, the 4 chord of F is B flat. If I was going to make that into a modal chord, like a borrowed chord, more interesting chord, you could say, I would make that, instead of making it B flat minor, like I could play an example here. If I'm in F minor now, that's the F minor 9 chord. Normally, if you hit a B flat, you're going to expect some kind of sound like this. Those are all B flat minor something chords. That's like B flat minor 9, minor 11. If I play it as a triad, F minor to B flat minor. But if I turn the B flat into a major chord, you get that brighter sound. And especially when it comes after the flat 6 chord in the key. So in this case, that would be the D flat chord. So here's my F minor, going to D flat, going to B flat major is going to sound James Bond. Sorry. Right, that's the sound I'm going for. But when I decorate them with 7ths, when I turn that B flat chord into a major chord, I don't play it as a major 7th. I play it as a dominant. That's what I mean. So the 4 chord becomes a dominant chord. Sorry if that's too much terminology. That's just the way my brain goes. So I'm coming from here into this guy. Maybe that guy. I don't know. The quick stab, it might not be long enough to appreciate everything that's in that chord. Great, and I'm glad you liked the explanation. Let's give it a shot. So this up here, this here, this here, this here. Oh man. Let's put this on the upbeat. Shout to Bon. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're enjoying the stream. I really appreciate it. Thanks for staying up. There. I like this. Short one, then the long one. Can we put a 13th in it? Yeah, maybe even maybe even get one of these grace note situations going on from the 5th up to the 13th. I don't know with this sound though. Not really. No. Nope. Just for fun, what does this sound like? Ugh, that's not what I wanted at all. Yeah. Okay, wow. So much coming to mind right now about how this is going to have to go. So this is too short of too complex of a little loop to repeat every time. If this just repeated like I've only written 2 bars of music. If this repeated every time, it would just sound ridiculous. So we're going to have like a chill out section that comes after this. So we're going to have this kind of complex section and then some kind of like very simple, very subby, maybe with some vocal samples in the second half, the second 2 bars, maybe even put it to an 8-bar section before we hear this again, because this is just, it's too much going on there. These things, I kind of want them to have their own reverb. So I'm just gonna maybe use the trick I used before. And this thingy, I'm still not quite satisfied with it. There's a few things we could do with it. The first is it needs to be more percussive on the actual attack to really emphasize like the groove factor that we got going on here. So if I come into the patch itself, I pride myself on my names, by the way, of synth patches. So I hope you like Electric Beef in this case. Interesting, you're using S1, not Ableton for this type of workflow. I use Studio One too. Great to see various genres being created on Studio One. Yeah, Ableton is basically the only DAW I've not used. I used to use, I started on Reason, and then I went to school, learned on Pro Tools. I went to Cubase, Logic, on Digital Performer for many years, and then now Studio One. And I love it. It's my favorite. I know a lot of people really dig Ableton for sure. So I understand that. I've never gotten into it myself, and I'm happy to use this workflow here. And it's a long time in the making, of course. And in terms of the genre thing, I mentioned this earlier, maybe you saw, maybe not. This is not the kind of genre that I make. I've actually never made music like this, quite like this before. It's really an experiment, and I know most people do use Ableton when they're making house stuff, so I'm glad to see it's kind of working so far. We'll see how it goes as I continue on. So I'm going to try to put some attack on this, and I mean, it's like the attack is fast, but it's just not punchy enough. So, okay, I might be employing a little trick here. Where is this? What's modulating this? Oh, the mod wheel. Okay, so there's a trick. Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, this is my first time making house music. Normally I make, I don't know, I work as a composer, so I end up making a lot of different kinds of music, not usually EDM stuff, but if I have my way, I normally make something that's kind of jazzy, hip-hoppy, electronic sort of thing. Not quite so, as you can see all the jazz chords in here, not quite so straight-ahead housey, and this didn't end up sounding quite straight-ahead housey either, which I figured would happen, but that's all in the good fun. Do I recommend Serum over Mai Tai? Oh, wow. Yes, absolutely. There's no competition. Mai Tai is good to learn on, to get a sense of a synth, and it's free, of course. It comes with Studio One, so it's good to use. But as soon as you can get Serum, and why not, on Splice.com, if you don't know that website, you can do a rent-to-own with Serum for $10 a month, I think, with no interest. And it's just like the best. I mean, I've programmed 600 or so sounds for Serum, so I know it, like everything about it, everything that it can do. I mean, of course, I'm sure there's things it can do that I'm not aware of, but I've tried to push it to its limit in a lot of different ways, and it's incredible. The sound quality is amazing, the versatility of it is amazing, and the interface is beautiful. I'm using it on the classic skin, and so I can switch it up to this other skin if you're into like the, you know, looking super futuristic, which I am too, and I probably should get into the skin more. Everybody sees this and like, oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever, and that's what I saw too. That's what I said when I saw it, but I know the other ones so well that this one almost confuses me to look at it, and so just for ease of working fast, I try to keep it on this. I don't sell Serum packs. I made Serum packs for a company called Unison, and so they have a bunch of Serum packs that I made for them, but I don't sell them myself. Maybe one day I'll make some, I'm not sure. I got kind of like sick of it after a year and a half or something of just 8 hours a day making synth presets, so yeah, I kind of took a break for a while. Now I'm just using all the presets that I made and modifying them. Okay, so what am I trying to do? I'm trying to add punch to this bass. So I've got a little trick for creating punch. If you've ever seen somebody create kick drums in a synth before, what they do is they take basically a sine wave or a filtered saw wave, and you pitch shift it from high to very low, very, very fast. And that creates this sort of sound. And so that's what we're going to do for the attack of this sound. So I'm going to take one of these LFOs and I'm going to turn it into an envelope that's shaped like this, put it on envelope mode, and then I can take this off. And then I'm going to cause this envelope to control the coarse pitch, the actual pitch of the entire synth altogether, the global pitch, to pitch shift from high to low really fast. Now, with all the high harmonics that are in this sound, it might not work so hot, but we're going to find out. So in the matrix, I'm going to say LFO1 controls global master tune, that's master pitch. I'm going to set it to be one way instead of two way, and then I'm going to take the pitches that I'm using in this song. I'm in the key of F, so I'm hitting an F. See, it starts to get punchy. Pretty cool. It's like a kick drum now. So then you control the punchiness with the rate of how fast it runs through the envelope. So until you can't really hear the choom sound. I mean, of course, unless you like that. So that actually worked out ridiculously well. That's basically exactly what I'm looking for. So now you can hear, it's like a little punchy thing. I need it to be faster, but. Yeah. Yeah, that's the subtle attack is where it's at. A lot of my sounds do that. And normally what I'll do at that point is take an auxiliary source, as they call it, and then you can just assign this to a macro. And what that will do, sorry, not macro 1, macro 3. And then I can call this attack. So if I have this in its down position, now you get no attack. And if you turn it up, you get it. And so you can get varying degrees of punchiness. Okay. Also on this sound, I've actually got a ridiculous EQ thing going on that is kind of cool just to look at it. I don't think I've ever done an EQ like this before. It looks like this. So you can mod better with Serum, I see, instead of having to assign multiple knobs to control your sound. Definitely sold, need to get this, yeah. Serum's where it's at. You just really can't beat it. I would highly recommend it. Okay, so this is the EQ that I have on this bass patch. And in FabFilter Pro Q, you can do these crazy looking curves like this. And so here's the sound. Now if I bring in these missing frequencies, much more whatever you call that, farty, bringing it out, I love this sound. Synths with a hole in the middle of them. And then you can move the hole around. And when you move it around, you get this kind of phasey sort of effect. And that's actually what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to take this gain knob, and we're just going to take a look. Where is it right? Not the gain knob, the frequency knob. And I'm at basically 1,000 hertz. I'm going to put on my automation to touch. I'm just going to play this and just basically move it randomly at first. And then I'm going to automate this thing. So I'm going to have it begin right on the ring, which actually starts a little bit ahead of where I am here. It's trying to snap too hard. There we go. And then I will have it maybe, I'm not sure, shift up or shift down. We're going to see over the course of the slide. So let's do it maybe that much. And then I will bring it back down to where it was. We'll just get rid of these. And like this. So now it's got that sloshy. It's kind of like a phaser. But if we bring it down instead, that's maybe even cooler. If I bring up my Pro Q again, we can see what it's doing. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So let's hide this. Let's save before anything tragic happens. And I'm going to maybe work a little bit on these other synths here, because they sound super weak. in comparison to this fat thing here. That's because it's mono, for one. Like it's coming right down the center. It's not wide like the other one is. So we're going to try a couple things and see how big we can get these sounds to be. So let's just loop. Okay, first thing is I'm just going to go in and look at the patch itself. If you're working in Serum, this, whatever it's called, wavetable, I Can Has Kick, is one of the coolest sounding wavetables. I mean, I've been through all of them 100 times. This is one of the stock wavetables that comes with Serum. And honestly, 90% of the time I use basic shapes: sine, saw, triangle, square, and a mix of them. I very rarely move into wavetables. I find for the kind of stuff that I do, I don't often need wavetables, and you can get so much out of the basic shapes, and I find if I can keep it simpler, I should. But this one, I Can Has Kick, really has a cool sound to it. So if you want to play around with something in Serum, that's a good one to use. Okay, so let's see if we can get some more interesting quality out of this. The first thing I'm noticing is that I don't have any unison set on my oscillator A. That was probably for a reason when I first made the patch, so let's find out why. It's cleaner without it. It gets a little bit smeared, but I do kind of need the smearing. We might try to get the smearing in a different way though. Wow, some really simple effects going on here. I'm going to use the hyper, and I'll put it last. Turn off, not the hyper, sorry, the dimension. Kind of ruins it. That's not bad. That adds a little bit of width. Can everyone just confirm for me that you are hearing this in stereo? Like if I pan this a little bit more, just so we can, I want to make sure. I didn't actually double check that before we started the thing. This is like actually going left to right for you, I hope. Okay, great. And then potentially I could throw a very subtle reverb or a very subtle delay on this sound. Let's try the delay first. So we'll open this back up again. Can hear the width and the drive too. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's put a delay. I'm going to put my delay last, and let's see. I'm going to try 8th triplet. Oh, we need 16th triplets, don't we? Dotted half, trip half, trip. So that's the quarter we're hearing. Let's link these, make them. So when I'm trying to get a good delay going on, if I'm trying to get a stereo delay, as in like quarters on one side, eighths on the other, or 8th triplet on the other, or whatever, I want to start by putting both delays synced so I can hear what one of it, like what 8th triplets will sound like by themselves, and then I know what's happening when I'm adding in the quarter notes. So if I go 8ths, put it up to triplet. Yeah, I feel like maybe 16th triplet, but that's going to be, no, it's not going to work. It's going to be really fast. delay might not work. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go that route. Let's try a room sounding reverb on this thing. So since we're no longer using this reverb we created over here, we can send you to that reverb, which of course sounds ridiculous right now. I'm going to go for a small That's actually not bad. Very subtle. Okay, Chris, thanks for stopping in. Glad you were here. A shout out to FabFilter on the everything, but especially on Pro R, this reverb. If you're looking for a good reverb, wow, I can't beat this. I just love this plugin. It's so easy to use. I'm such a visual person. I really need it to look good when I'm using it, and the sound quality and the interface is just incredible. The ease of setting up effects bus, etc. is what sold me on S1. That room reverb sounds good. Yeah, definitely. The way that you can manipulate the mixer in Studio One is just the best. I love it. It's so fast. There's so many ways to route things with just like a single click or 2 clicks, grouping things, hiding things, coloring. It's just where it's at. So and we also need to like saturate this, I think, this bass, maybe. Let's find out. And then maybe some EQ. I'm just going to sweep around and look for some like interesting frequencies and see if I can get something kind of wacky sounding. I love that stuff, that sort of sound. That's just where it's at for me. So and then maybe we can even automate it to just get a bit of motion in that quality. And potentially just pull something out. This is my scientific way of EQing things. Yeah, I agree, snare. That's the way to go. Let's give it a try. So let's go touch, and we're going to automate Frequency, we're at 325 right now. And let's see here. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so let's pull this down till we're at 325-ish, 330. And I don't know if going up or down will be the solution in this case, but let's just try. Let's put this on the beat so that it doesn't get screwed. Let's go down. Why aren't you giving me a reading? Oh, because I'm over here. No. Aye, aye, aye. That's actually pretty nice. Very subtle. I like the lowering filter while the notes are going up. But this is probably going to get too low over here. We're down at like 1 blah blah, so let's... This is cool. Okay, let's see it in context. Gonna try to get a little bit of a balance. What time are we at here? 6:16. Where is everybody from, by the way? I don't know how many of you are on the stream still, but I'd be interested to know where you are living and how that is for you right now. I'm in Vancouver. Well, I'm not in Vancouver. I'm in a town just north of Vancouver in Canada, BC, Canada, called Squamish. If you want to just let me know. Megan is my partner. She's in the other room right now. What interface am I using? You're in Oz, Ian. Yeah, I believe you. What interface are you using? So I'm using actually a Manchester, Indianapolis. Wow. I'm using a Studio 192 Mobile, which is actually a discontinued unit now, but they have some updated version of it. It's like a USB 3, 2 XLR inputs, I think 2 1/4" in the back, a bunch of outputs, very configurable, and yeah, I love it. I've used a bunch of interfaces, and oh, hi Chris, I didn't even know you were there. Welcome. And the mic I'm using is who makes this thing anyway? It's a Rode shotgun, just seated above my monitor right now. And yeah, I've had this sort of set up for a little bit. Maybe I can even like spin the camera around my room at some point here. It's a little bit gross and dirty at the moment, so we'll see if I decide to do that or not. But I'm glad the stream sounds good. Thanks for letting me know. So I'm just going to try to do a quick balance, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to... Megan knows that it's gross all the time. I'm going to just solo my drum bus. and see if things sounding all right in here. Now that little snare sound is a little bit loud. It's also super, super dry. And then I will bring in one element at a time and try to balance it a little bit. So let's bring in this first bass. Not bad. Now the chord. Ooh, that's loud. Good, I'm glad it sounds good on the laptop speakers. And then let's drop in this other bass. I don't know what it is about this bass sound. It just isn't somehow doing it for me. Maybe they need to be longer stabs. Hey, thank you. That's really lovely to hear. I appreciate that. I'm a pretty tech-minded person in general, so I try to temper that as much as I can with the feel side of things. Oh wow, was I just like recording all kinds of automation here? Please tell me not. No, okay. Yeah, I come from that really technical, heavy-minded background, but Megan has done a great job in showing me the way when it comes to feel and emotion and things like that, so I owe her a great debt for that. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I have an account. There was some cool stuff that I posted there last year sometime, and then I basically haven't gone on since. For me, it's hard to think about all the... oh, that's great to hear, snare. It's hard for me to think about all the different social platforms and like trying to create content for all of them, and I just say fuck it and I just stop. And so YouTube is something that I've been trying to do for a long time, wanting to do for a long time, and so right now that's my focus. Hopefully I'll get back on Instagram again, but I can post my thingy here and you can see me, and I'll add you back. I forget even what my handle is. Maybe Megan knows better than me, I don't know. I literally don't even know where to find my tag. Yeah, that's right, harmonic.heart, that's me. Thank you. Have I done any tutorials on macros yet? You mean macros in Studio One, I assume. And no, I haven't. I do use them, and I haven't gotten around to doing it. Just to be clear about the tutorials on YouTube, as far as the Studio One course is concerned, that course was something that I started creating a couple of years ago to have as a standalone thing that I was going to sell. And then midway through, or 3/4, I don't know what it was, the way through, I abandoned it in favor of creating a different course, which I'm still just trying to finish up right now. And so there was a bunch of things planned to be done in those tutorial series that never got done, and that macro thing is one of them. But I haven't written that down in my notes regarding videos to make soon, because that's actually a great idea. I should do one on macros because they're so powerful. Yeah, I agree. So let me just do that before I forget, because I will forget. Great. Okay. Well, it's good to know people are interested in that tutorial. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy them. It means a lot. It was a long time coming for me to decide to put those tutorials up on YouTube, because I had just been sitting on them for a while, not sure what to do with them. And yeah, at some point I said, you know what? I should just release all this stuff for free. That's the way to do it. And so I'm so glad that it's been working out and people have been digging it. Teaching is something I've been doing. I've been teaching music for over 15 years now, and it's just like in my blood. I just love it. And so the fact that people get benefit of it is huge for me. So thank you. Okay. Back to the jams. Yeah, this goddamn sound is just bothering me. I love it, but it's not happening. So let's try to make it longer. No. I'm going to leave it for now and move on to these chords. Maybe try to get the reverb going on them too. Let's turn all this soloing off. I've got an interesting idea for this chord. Oh, hi, Jerome. I didn't know you were there. Great to hear from you. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm so glad that you enjoy the tutorials. I'm going to try to throw a crazy little delay on this chord stab. Sorry for the clearing my throat. I know that's probably sounds terrible in the microphone. I've got my microphone hooked up through like a series of compressor and EQ and limiter and stuff, so it probably takes everything that every little noise that I make and just amplifies it into your ears, so my apologies. I'm going to try to put a triplet delay on this chord stab. I can't even speak it that fast, but we're going to make it happen. So link these. We're looking for 16th. I always forget how to do triplets in this thing. I want to say this is dotted. And it's not doing anything because it's not turned on. Am I on 8s? Oh, yeah. That was actually pretty cool, too. That wasn't what I was going for, but... Oh, great to hear. Thanks for stopping by, Snare. Really appreciate it. I'll be doing more live streams soon, so I hope to see you there. And now that I know you're over there and you enjoy them, I'll try to make it earlier in the day so that we can have everybody join. That would be great. Have a great sleep. Now that's actually pretty dope, though. Ba da 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 da. But I'm really, I don't know how to get these triplets happening. You would think this is something I know how to do, but it's just... Good, thank you. Talk to you soon. I really dig that sound. So we're gonna automate this. We're gonna automate the send amount. It's almost a perfect send amount already too. So we're gonna say boop, boop, boop. And then we're gonna turn the feedback amount down. Yeah. I've got another idea. Let's bounce this. Let's throw this grid onto 16 triplets. Let's chop it at the triplet. And this is pretty cool. Pull this one down a bit, pull this one down a bit more. Too much. Cool. Prashun, hey, I was hoping you'd be able to make it on. Good to see you. Thanks for sending a message. See you. Where do you live, Prashun? And what time is it for you there? I'm going to do this reverb trick again. Turn the attack off, turn the reverb on, bounce the thing. Turn the reverb off. Kathmandu, Nepal. Wow, that's incredible. He could be a night shift worker, that's right. Turn the attack back on. And Blood, I did receive your email. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to listen to the track yet. I will be listening to it today, and I'll get back to you on that. What's happening here? Oh, it's muted. Where am I from? I'm from a place called Squamish in British Columbia, Canada. It's a small little town, 20,000 people, kind of sitting in between some mountains in a little valley. It's a totally gorgeous place to live. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the compliments. I'm so glad that you enjoy the tutorials. And I hope to make a lot more. It's from all you guys supporting me that I have the energy to do more of this stuff. I'm so glad it's been well received, and I can't wait to do more of it. Okay, with these little thingies, they just sound so dinky to me. I just can't deal with it. So I think what I might try doing is taking another bass sound and layering it on top of this sound and seeing what we can do with that. Oh, you got family in Vancouver. That's great. Wow. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have the sensation that my drums are just like too loud compared to everything? I don't mix with headphones that often these days, and I somehow can't tell like if this is sounding decent or not. Any feedback would be great. Sounds good on the laptop. Okay, that's good. I mean, I don't think it sounds like terrible. It sounds decent. My kick might be too loud, but I don't know. It is house music, so maybe I just need to turn my headphones up so it sounds better. Okay, let's try to layer this bass. I think the drums sound good, but I have headphones and work in the studio as well. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, it's good to know I have support in the headphone crowd here. I do have a plugin that I normally run when I'm using headphones and when I'm using my monitors, which is this thing called SonarWorks. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but it's basically a kind of correction plugin for headphones and monitors. And so I run my Sennheiser. This is the headphones I have, Sennheiser HD650s, which I love. And they kind of correct this. This is an average measurement of a 650 frequency balance. And then you can show the simulated after correction. And if I remove the before, you can see how flat it becomes like this. This is on a 0 latency mode. If I were to put this up into like a linear phase mode or something, it gets very, very flat, but at the cost of having some latency. And when I switch to my monitors, I can just click this button. Look at this ungodly map here. This is a map of the frequency response in my room as measured by this special little microphone that they send out with the package, a reference mic. And so you kind of go around the room and you take measurements and it plays these sounds. And you can see like I have a, whatever this is, 10 dB dip at about 110 hertz in my room. And if I take away the before, you can see after the correction is done, if I'm sitting in my listening position, it ends up basically flat like this. So this is huge for me. Some people hate on this thing like mad, but I love it. From the first day that I got this, I noticed such a difference and it really improved my mixes. So normally when I'm mixing in headphones, I'm running this thing as well. But today, of course, if I were to be running it, you would also be hearing it. There's definitely a way I could do it where I would only be hearing it and the stream wouldn't be. But I didn't set that up because I didn't think about it. So whatever. I always have a problem to make bass sound and bass melody. Well, making sounds is an art that takes a lot of practice. And I would be happy to make some tutorials on making sounds. Now, we were having a discussion earlier about Serum versus, which is the plugin I'm using here, versus Mai Tai, which is the synth plugin inside of Studio One, of course. And I do recommend Serum very, very highly. I also really, really recommend Omnisphere. It costs a lot of money, but man, is it ever amazing. For synth sounds, it's good, but for like hybrid sounds that mix synths with real sounds, like they'll have sounds where you have like a hang drum being played by an electric toothbrush mixed with like a sine wave that's pitch shifting, and it's just like amazing. So I'm using Omnisphere all the time, Serum all the time. And then it's just a matter of putting in work on trying to replicate the sounds that you love using those synths. So when I was first learning, what I would do is open 2 instances of Serum side by side, which in Studio One, if you don't know how to do that, you can just click this little pin here at the top. And now our screen's not big enough to do it, but I'll try anyway. So I can now open this one. Now I've got 2 Serums loaded side by side. I would load up one of my favorite sounds. Oh my God, I just removed my sound. Luckily, that was the one I was going to change anyway. Can I get back on that? No. Whew, that was a lucky break. Oh, I switched ones. Okay, that's fine. So if I have these 2 open, I would load up a sound that I love into this one, put this one to be initialized, and then I would go step by step trying to copy this one, knob for knob, looking at what every knob does, you know, changing it, hearing what the sound, how the sound changes. I did that on probably about 20 sounds, just copying patches one for one, not off YouTube, but like in Studio One itself, until I really had a good sense of how some of these sounds are being made. The other thing that I did was I read the manual from front to back, the Serum manual. I highly recommend that. Read the manual just to see what everything can do. And then it's just a matter of thinking logically, you know, starting in one area and moving around the plugin, changing things as you go. It's a process I could definitely do a tutorial on. It's something I know very well, so it's definitely worth looking into. I'm going to try to take a new sound here. Let's get another kind of plucky sound, but a different one. I'm thinking this is kind of cool, like classic bass sound. I'm gonna try to duplicate the MIDI from my original sound down to the new sound. Then on this new track, I'm going to throw an EQ on and remove the low frequencies. There's a better way to do this in the future. I'm just have to do this provisionally right now so that I don't get too much buildup of the lows, right? Like this versus, now I can layer them. See what I mean? So it's actually kind of cool. So I'm just going to go through a few different patches, take notes on my favorite ones. That's not serum. Take note of my favorite ones and then come back to it if I need to. So that one's decent. Nope. Too intense. Kind of cool. But very similar. Too similar. Decent. Oh yeah. Thanks, Blood, for talking about that. Messing around with the bass notes. I've got some tutorials on there. You've probably seen them, Prashun. I'm sure you have. You probably commented on them about bass notes. I'd be happy to talk more about writing bass lines. It's got to be one of my favorite things to do. The main thing is to listen to a lot of music that has good bass lines, the bass lines that you really like. And then when you find one that you really like, at least learn it to the point that you could sing it or beatbox it in time with the thing, right? So if I'm listening to this, I would do that until it becomes instinctive to me and I get a feeling for it. Other thing to do is even better if you can do this, is learn to play the bass line on the keyboard or on a guitar or on everything, on any instrument you have. And by playing it enough that it's memorized, it gets into you. That's what we're looking for. We want the feel of bass lines to get into us to the point that it becomes instinctive. If we have to think too much about what the bass line should be, it's not going to embody that feel. That's why I started out with the beatboxing in this thing, which if anyone's missed the beginning of the stream, I can just quickly show that again. I started out by actually beatboxing this. Thank you, Prashun. I'm so glad to hear you watch them all. If anybody hasn't tried beatboxing before, please do. It changed my life and ruined my parents' life when I was a teenager because I just did it all day, every day in the car at dinner, and I was just, they were not really interested in hearing it that often. But just learning to go for a bass, hi-hats, for snares, any kind of sound. It doesn't have to sound that great. Just being able to get an idea out. I record so many voice notes on my phone. In fact, that's where this came from. If something comes to me, I just pull up the phone, record the bass line, store it in a folder, again, drum patterns, everything. The phone is so good for that. And then you can literally just drag it into Studio One like I did here and use it as a template, and you build around it, and then you delete it in the end. That's the idea. So yeah, beatboxing, wow. I mean, just look up some beatboxing on YouTube and see the level that some people take it to. It's completely outrageous. Like, you think you've got someone like myself or one of your friends that can beatbox a couple of beats. The lengths that people go to with beatboxing is completely mind-blowing. People are so good at it, it's shocking. So it's worth checking out. Yeah, exactly. It's about the jazz comment there. It's good to just hear a lot of bass lines and try to imitate them, either with your voice or with the instrument. You really can't say enough about that. This is the chunt sound. This is a joke that only a few people who are going to watch this video might get. I actually kind of like that one. Just in the sake of time, I'm going to either go for crash pad or... Yeah, I think so too. Crash pad or sophisticate. Any opinions on that? Crash pad versus sophisticate. Here's sophisticate again. I don't know. I'm not sure which one I should go for, so if anyone's got an opinion, let me know. This one's pretty cool. Yes, it does sound brighter, I agree. I wonder if I can just... no, I can't do that. I can do this. Can I crash my computer? No. I don't even know what this does. Seemingly not what I want. I was hoping it was going to be like an A-B thing, which seems like it should be, but someone probably knows how to do this better than me. I'm just gonna do it this way. I kind of like this. I'm gonna go like this. A little tip, small tip, every fader in Studio One and everything for that matter has the most accuracy, like the most resolution in the fader near the 0 point right here. So the more you can keep your faders near the 0 point, you get it, and it's an easier time to adjust levels. So what you do is you set your volume to begin with inside the plugin itself, like in this case, and then you worry about moving the fader later on. If you try to use the fader right from the beginning, you might end up pulling it way down or way up, and then you've lost some resolution in the fine control you can have over it, and it just makes life easier to be able to not have to be so precise when you move the thing. When it's near the 0 mark, you can move it, and you can get very precise movements without having to make your mouse movements that precise. So yeah, moving the volume inside the plugin before you get to the fader is a good move. I'll probably end the stream at like 7 o'clock here, which is in 5 minutes or so. I'm just gonna go over this a little bit here. So like I said, I'm going to actually extend this out to here, and I'm gonna have some kind of other thing happen here. I don't know yet. Sounds weird now that we've heard it looping a billion times, but it's too short of a thing to loop, so I'm gonna do something over here. I don't know what yet. Just for fun, I'm gonna quickly try something. I'm gonna pull up a pad. Might do for now. That's basically the route we're gonna go. Yeah, me too. Oh, I can hear a thing here. Thank you, sir. I quite like this pad too. John, you're here. Wow. Thanks for showing up. Good to see you. I need a way to like see who joins the thing. I don't know if that's a thing. This is like, I'm a YouTube streaming noob, so I don't know who's here, how many people are here. Okay, so the problem with stuff like this, with pads like this, is that the reverb is so big that it's going to bleed over everything. Is this velocity dependent? No. And let's just see how that's working right now. I'm probably gonna have to bounce it. Ooh, I got another idea. It just totally sounds like we're in the key of B flat right now with that chord. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bounce this, and then I will mute it for a minute. I'm gonna save this little thing in case I need to edit it for later by just dragging it over here. I'm gonna delete the first chord and throw in a passing chord right here to pull us back to the F again. And oh yeah, good idea, Chris. Thanks for stopping by. So glad that you were here. Please make some noise for me. Glad to hear it, John. Thank you. This last chord, I don't know if it's gonna work. I can't quite hear it in my mind's ear just yet. I'm gonna play C7-ish. We're in the key of F minor, so I'm gonna play C7, first inversion, to get us back to F again. So let's just see what kind of voicing we can work out here. This will be the last thing I do for today, I think. That's pretty low, possibly too low. So let's see though. What was my top note there? This will now be this, or even this. We're gonna grab U, U, U. Something like that. So this is a C7 altered chord, C7 flat 13, sharp 9, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know how well it's going to work, but what I'm going to do, because of all the reverb going over everything, it's not going to work to just throw it in, so I need to actually bounce this as well. So we're going to do that. We're going to make room at the end of this guy and put him right there. And then we'll just quickly crossfade them like that. And pray. That's what you do in this situation. You pray that it works. You unmute the track first. That's a very crucial step. Don't forget that one. I'm not like sold on it. It's decent, but maybe with a bass underneath it, we would be happy. I'm just going to very quickly throw this bass under it, and I'm going to mute it, like put the mod wheel down on it, and what? What is happening? Oh, I'm playing the wrong chord. It could work with some massaging. Right now it's a little bit stark and weird, but maybe that's for another day. I might massage that into place. Or maybe like this would be like every 8th bar rather than every 4th. Yeah, this would need to be like over here somewhere, and then I'm going to lay that out for myself so that I don't forget, and then I'm going to be done here. So let's do this. I'm gonna chop you and chop you. Not here, not here. Or maybe it's here, yeah. Can't remember if I had modified anything in there, so we'll do this. Duplicate. And that will be more like what our thing is. Yeah, so then this will go here. I just need to put in this filler section here, put some percussion in this section, and we're getting pretty close to having something halfway decent. Wow, okay. It's hot in here and I'm done. Thanks everybody for joining in. Really appreciate it. It was my first time making this kind of music and first time doing a YouTube live stream. Went pretty well, I think. I'm glad the sound was good. And I hope to make this a regular thing if people are digging it. And I'll try to maybe even continue this on the next one and try to finish the track out at some point, or maybe I'll work on it myself at some point. I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate that. And let me know if you've got any ideas for other videos or anything you'd like to see. And I hope you have a great rest of your week and you stay safe. Thank you.